All right, ladies and gentlemen, the next talk is the future of TV. And it's hosted by MBC. I'm a big fan of MBC. Make some noise for MBC in the building, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Known as the busiest man in Hollywood and one of the most powerful people in entertainment, our next speaker is a master of primetime television. He's also a multiple Emmy Award winner, currently hosting 7 shows. Wow, I'm a big fan, including the world-renowned Miss Universe pageant. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to hear a big round of applause to entrepreneur, author, and speaker, Steve Harvey. Make some noise. Joining him is MBC's Group TV Director, the one and only Ali Jabir. Make some noise for Ali. Obviously, this is all part of an engaging talk under MBC hosts heading. Give them a big round of applause. Come on, make some noise for Steve Harvey.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dubai Links in the building, always.
It's great. That was the smallest round of applause I've ever gotten.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you, my colleagues at MBC, for coming. And I want to give a special thanks to the students of the Jeddah Advertising College.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming too. You really light up the place.
Yeah.
And Steve, you will
Yes.
probably want to talk to them after this session for a bit. They're very excited.
I'll give the students 20, 25, 30 minutes. Yeah. I like young
Steve, everybody here is very, very excited to see you, to learn a little bit more about your life. The future of television is probably something that Sharif Badruddin put as a title. We don't need to talk about that at all.
Okay.
We just want to talk a little bit of who is Steve Harvey and how do you become a Steve Harvey?
Wow. I have managed to become a very resilient person in television. I learned a long time ago I wasn't going to be a movie star because I can't act. So I knew that television, that small screen, was where I would make my living. I've been unafraid to reinvent myself over the years, you know. A lot of people get stuck on one thing. I never have. I always figured I could do a talk show, I could do a game show, I could host New Year's Eve, Miss Universe, I could, you know, still do comedy. So I've always managed to be that. I've managed to become a pretty, I guess you'd say, big media presence in American television. And now my aspiration is to go global in the presence of media and television. Now, how you get to be me, I'm not sure anybody wants to take the route I took. I didn't do well as a student in school. I'm not a good student, you know, I'm not. My gift that God gave me has nothing to do with education, so I didn't do well in school. I've been homeless. I lived in a car for 3 years during the period of my life. I lost everything I ever owned twice. So I'm not sure that, you know, you want to duplicate the route I took to become who I am, but all of those experiences that I had brought me to this point. I mean, how am I in Dubai? How? I'm a little poor black kid from Cleveland, Ohio, and now I'm over here speaking in Dubai. How does that happen? You know, that's really an amazing rise. So it's been difficult, but it's been rewarding. You know, I wouldn't trade it for anything. I mean, you know, look, you know, to be me right now is a pretty good, it's better than what I used to be. You know, living in a car is not fun. So I don't live in a car no more. I buy a lot of really expensive cars just in case something happens. If you don't want to give it your all, then you should stop now and just go do something else. But if you want to get to the top, it takes a lot of grit, a lot of grind.
That's fantastic. Steve,
this microphone is not made for people with lips my size. Because this thing is so far back, I don't even know I got it on. This is so confusing to me, this little piece. I'm not used to this. How I look? A little crazy? Okay, cool. Just want to make sure.
Steve, you have a major presence on television, which to many in this room is dying, but you also managed to maintain a major life on all platforms, across all digital platforms. Can you tell us a little bit about how do you do that? Not a lot of people can really have life on both sides of the midnight.
Well, first of all, in the States, there's a clause in every television contract of exclusivity. You know, if you on my network, if you on like MBC in the States is, and then there's ABC and there's CBS and there's Fox. If you're on one of those networks, you have to sign an exclusivity to not be on any other network. I take all those out of all my contracts. You can't tell me how to make money. You can't tell me where my grind and hustle will take me to. So I, first of all, I get rid of all exclusivity clauses in my contract. And I just pursue whatever my gift leads me to. My gift at the bottom, if you peel back all the skin on the banana, my gift is comedy. I tell jokes. I mean, I make money telling jokes. So whatever you hire me for, if you don't want the jokes, you got the wrong guy. Because that's my gift. That's what God gave me at birth. He gave it to me, just like he gave everyone in this room a gift at birth. He doesn't put your gift under a rock or on a mountaintop. He puts it inside you at birth. You don't have to look for it. He gave it to you. It's free. And so my gift is comedy, and so I use that in all my aspects. So once I take the exclusivity clauses out of all my contracts, then I start thinking of how can I maximize this gift. So the first thing was a sitcom. I started in sitcoms back in '94. And once I got on it, I started actually on Showtime at the Apollo. That was my first television appearance. That was hosting a show that came on at 2 a.m. in the morning in the States, and it was just African Americans in Harlem, New York, at the Apollo Theater, the greatest theater in the world, by the way. The most talented people on earth go through the Apollo Theater, and I hosted that for 7 years. I go to the Montreal Comedy Festival. I get discovered by ABC. So they gave me a sitcom, and then I got another sitcom called The Steve Harvey Show. Then after that, I created a format called Steve Harvey's Big Time. And then after that, it just started snowballing. I wrote a book in 2009 called Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. And then at that same time, Fremantle came to me with this show called Family Feud, which was dying. I just want to tell you that it was dying. It was nothing. It was on its last leg. It was crippled. It was limping. It was bleeding profusely. In the States, it's a 1.4. 1.4 will keep you on television in the States, but you barely, you're not doing it. So when I took over the show, I told them how I wanted to do it. And they hated the idea because I didn't want to be a traffic cop. So when Family Feud came to me, I told them no. And they said, why? I said, because I don't want to be a traffic cop. The guy's question was, they showed me a tape of the guy who hosted the show before me. The question was, name your favorite pet. The guy says, a cow. Okay, wait a minute. You didn't say dog, cat, chicken, hamster. How did you go from your favorite pet is a cow? So I thought that was pretty stupid. So I said, well, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So Fremantle told me, you can't say anything about the contestants. I said, but he just said something really stupid. You gonna act like you didn't hear that? You heard him say cow. Cow is not a pet. So why am I turning to see if it's up on the board? It's not up there. They said, you can't do that. I said, well, I don't want to do the show. So one lady was sitting there who's the executive producer of the show. She said, I think he may be on to something. And so they did a test show, and the cameramen were laughing so hard they couldn't even film the show. And so they said, well, how are you going to be funny every day? We're going to hire you some writers, and we'll give you the questions before the show. I said, I don't work like that. I make it up as I go. They said, well, how are you going to make it up as you go? We have 200 shows. You can't be funny for 200 shows. I said, if you pay me, I can be funny for 200 shows. And it just started. Then it became Family Feud, and then it went from a 1.4 to now it's like a 7.2. It's the largest game show in the States. And then from that, I added Little Big Shots. I added Showtime at the Apollo. I added Thunderdome. I added, I got a lot of them. I just kept adding.
Miss Universe?
Miss Universe. Let's not bring that up. Let's let the Miss Universe thing die down a little bit. Y'all won't let that go, will you? That Miss Universe. It's crazy. I was telling him last night we were together, and I said the thing about Miss Universe was, on my vision board, I had asked God to increase my global brand and persona. My whole goal has been to go global, to come from America, to come to Africa, to come to UAE, the Philippines, and do what I did in the States. No one ever comes from America over here to do that, no one. I said I won't be the first one to do that. So I told God, I said, I need you to increase my global brand and persona. Well, when I said, and the new 2015 Miss Universe is, the guy told me, Colombia. I said it, Colombia. He said, great job, Steve. Well, it wasn't Miss Colombia. It was Miss Philippines. So after that, I got ate up. They killed me in the media. They wrote things about me, really nasty stuff. He's finished. He's a loser. He's stupid. Biggest mistake ever made. But here was the blessing. 48 hours after I said the wrong name, my name had been Googled 4 billion times. I was the most famous person in the world. Now,
Read that.
I did not appreciate the way God did it. I really thought he could have went another route, but I was pretty famous after that. You got to be careful what you ask God for, because he might give it to you.
Absolutely. Steve, talking about Family Feud, you know MBC, the company that I work in, have acquired Family Feud to be produced for our new Iraqi channel. So we're going to have all those families in Iraq, Shia, Sunni, Kurds, battling it on television.
Just on TV.
Any hint? Yeah, just on TV. Okay. Oh, they're probably moving
I just need to know what's going on over here. Let me know.
Are you interested to come and be a guest?
Oh, man, absolutely. That's one of my dreams. I'm telling you, like, for me to even be here, it's all part of the plan, you know. And I don't even know how I got here. I was just invited. And, of course, I said I would come, but I would love to come and host a show. I mean, look, I would do it in the Iraqi, all over the UAE, you know. I just speak English, though. I don't know nothing.
I can work on that.
Yeah, I got no Arabic skills at all. I know Allah, that's it.
That's right.
Yeah, really.
Steve, you know, comedy is breaking out in our region. In Saudi Arabia, young men and women are taking a liking of stand-up comedy. They want to become comedians. We have Jeddah Comedy Club that is really a major institution. And a lot of comedians are also crossing over. They live on YouTube mostly and other platforms. What kind of advice do you want to give to those aspiring young Arabs who want to be stand-up comedians?
Well, you have to understand something about this business. comedy is the only profession where you cannot go to school for it. You could go to school to be a doctor, lawyer, dentist, pilot, architect, engineer. You can go to school to play the drums. You can go learn how to sing, play the piano. You can take tap dance lessons. You could be a ballerina. You can go to school to make sunglasses. You can go to school to learn how to bungee jump. You can go to school to become a tailor. You cannot go to school for comedy. There is no course that you can take, and at the end of that course, you're funny. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. You can go take the course if you want to, you're not gonna be funny. This is something that God has to give you at birth. It has to be in you because there is no school for it. I watch a lot of young comedians today. You use YouTube and Facebook and you put your act online. You got to be very careful because comedy is not like singers. You know, when you have a favorite song and the musician comes to town, you want him to sing your favorite song. You want to hear that song over and over and over and over. Jokes do not work that way. Nobody can laugh at the same joke over and over because you know the punchline. So when you release your material on YouTube and on Facebook for nothing, how you going to get paid? Because when they come see you live, they're not going to laugh if they know what the punchline is. So it's a dangerous thing because you think you're getting famous that way, but let me show you something. The only way to make money as a stand-up comedian is you have to get a house laugh. That's 85% of the room has to laugh every time you talk for 90 minutes every 8 to 15 seconds. That's all you got to do. That's it. You do that, welcome to my world. You can make tens of millions of dollars, US. And you can be very successful. But remember, it's 90 minutes. See, Kevin Hart, he can walk on stage for 90 minutes. Jerry Seinfeld can go on stage for 90 minutes. Jay Leno can go on stage for 90 minutes. I can do it. The kings of comedy, Cedric the Entertainer, D.L. Hughley, the late Bernie Mac when he was living. It's very few left that can go on stage for 90 minutes and do that. That's why you just see out of the States right now, Kevin Hart is the biggest guy because he can do it. And you know, you got to get there by going out on stage. They have to say your name 1,500 times on stage in small clubs, 20 people, 8 people, before you ever see thousands of people. You'll never get to thousands of people unless you're killing in these small comedy clubs. And don't get worried because you're not going to be famous at 21. There are no 21-year-old famous comedians. There are none. You know why? Because you have nothing to talk about. Nothing. You've never been divorced, never been fired, you got no kids, you don't have any credit, you still paying student loans, you live at your mama's house. No one cares. You have to experience life to become a great comedian. And it does not start for you till after you're 30 years old. You cannot name one famous 20-year-old comedian. Who is he? And making money. He does what no one cares. What's he talking about? Nobody want to hear your joke about playing video games. It's not funny. I'm 62 years old. I care less. Shut up.
That's fine.
So, I don't know if I'm doing good or not. I'm just.
You're okay. You're okay. Steve, us at MBC, like you, have lived off linear free-to-air television for a long time, and we live off advertising. And advertising, I think this is the key word here with those people, is changing. And for us, it is evaporating. What's going on? How do you survive that?
It's evaporating in the States too, because you got all of these Hulus and Netflix, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's another avenue, but television, syndicated television in the United States is drying up. I mean, over the past 7 years, you know, by God's grace, I've had the only show that's stuck in syndicated television in daytime in 7 years. They can't release anything that works. They can't make anything work. So it's tough, but it's still the deal though, you know, because I don't see how you can replace free television. You know, look, if you come up with good programming, like Family Feud and Little Big Shot, stuff like that,
Here you go.
you know, people are going to tune in to watch it. But, you know, Netflix, they pretty strong. You know, they coming with everything in every language. They got films for everybody and everything. And they got a lot of money, and it's enticing. But still, at the end of the day, television will survive this, because, you know, everything has waves. And even though it's shrinking, it's getting smaller, it's still, the cream rises to the top. You know, I have to look at it that way, you know. I'm not, because I believe that when I come over here, when I take my brand globally to do what nobody else has done, see, because I think like that, you know, I think like that. Who comes here to do television? Everybody want to go to the States. I live in Hollywood. I'm in Beverly Hills. My wife we live there. It's not a nice place. The crime, that's why I love Dubai. Dubai, I've told everybody, is my favorite city on earth, because no, really it is. I'm not saying it because you're here, but it's New York City, clean and no crime. New York City, dirty, and you're gonna get killed. So I love coming here, you know. It's just, no one comes from the States to another country that's a really big talent. That's a talent that can come when they're at the top of their game. You know what I mean? Look, everybody come overseas when they washed up. They go to China, they sing, they get $1 million, they go home. Nobody comes here when they're on top. I'm gonna be the first one to come and do it on top. If I start with guest hosting
Absolutely.
on Iraqi television right here on MBC, I'm cool with that, long as they know English, because I'm telling you right now, my Arabic is shot.
We'll work on that.
Yeah.
Tell us, Steve, about East 112.
East 112th Street is my production company in the States, where I produce content for television. Now, you know, look, if I'm speaking honestly, America's a tough place. Because it is what it is, you know. They're very controlling. If they see you getting a little bit too big, you know, the big boys get together and go, okay, wait a minute, who does he think he is? And they get together and they decide what goes on TV and what doesn't. And it's really crazy because they make these decisions in Los Angeles and New York on both opposite ends of this country, when who watches TV is in the middle of the country. They know nothing. They know nothing about the people in the middle. People that live in Beverly Hills and Los Angeles, California is really California. It's tricky, man. And you come out there, it's la-la land. We smoke and mirrors. And New York is the money mecca of our country, right? And they make these decisions here about middle America never having gone. They know nothing about this. I know about this because I've been touring for 30 years as a comedian. So my jokes have to work in New York. They have to work in Mississippi. They got to work in Florida. Then they got to work in Chicago. And then they got to work in Vegas and LA. So I know I have my finger on the pulse of America. They make decisions outside of the middle of America. And they come up with what they think would work on television. And it's becoming increasingly difficult to get there. So I created 112 to create content that's doable. But I'm second thinking this now, you know, because the content, like I was talking to you, matter of fact, I talked to you last night. Yeah. And I brought a couple of ideas with me to share because, see, what happens is we've been doing it backwards. Americans take all TV ideas, take it to America and do it much better, and then sell it back to you. To what? That's crazy. You know, look, American Idol was started in Europe. We buy all these formats from Europe and Australia and Africa, and we take it and then we do it because we know how to polish it up. You know, we smoke and mirrors, man. We get to shine on it, and then we tell you we thought of it. And then we go to Cannes, and then we sell it back to you, and you buy it. This is the greatest, what? So I said, and I was telling him last night, why don't we do it the other way around? Why don't somebody come here, produce it over here, sell it to them, and then own it, so when they start distributing it, we not only own it, but we make money from here. That's how it should be done. And that's what 112 is in the process of doing. And when I created Steve Harvey Global 4 years ago, right before the pageant, I started wanting to come this way, and now it's happening. You know, it's really, really happening. So I'm grateful for that. But 112 is my dream, to produce really great content and do something meaningful, you know. Because while I'm hot, you know, I want my last 10 years to be like really, really fly. Like I'm 62 years old. I know you can't believe it, because I'm so fly. Oh God, I'm so fly. But I have such a young spirit because I laugh every day. You know, my laughter keeps me young. People who don't laugh, you can't stay young. You're going to be miserable. I laugh every day. I laugh at stuff I'm not supposed to laugh at. It doesn't matter to me. If you fall down some steps, I don't know you. And if God turned my head and let me see you fall down the steps, God wrote that joke for me. And that's what, this is not a good comedy crowd. I was trying to be lighthearted because of beautiful ladies that were up here talking. Y'all wasn't responding or laughing at all. I said, well, I'll put a stop to that.
How do you keep your audience in tune? How do you do that?
I think it's because I know them so well. You know, even though I've become really successful, I keep my finger on the pulse of people. First of all, I hire a lot of young people. I hire a lot of millennials. My son, my daughter works for me. My son works for me. His friend works for me. Because young people keep you, they know what's happening now. You know, you get older, man, you start missing it. You got to listen to young people, man. Young people are where it's at. They know what's going on. They know technology. I don't really know a lot about technology, so I keep young people around me. And that keeps me knowing what's going on. Now, look, I'm still old school, so that's not going to change. My mindset is locked. If I could get young people to work like old people and use your technology, but if young people had our mindset for work, because see, we didn't have technology. We grew up without a cell phone. If we wanted to talk to a girl, we had to go over there. We couldn't text. We had to go over there. Her father was waiting. This was not a good time because this dude the father was really a father. So it was a problem. Well, now you don't have to go over there. You can text. You can FaceTime. It's a different mindset. So with your access to technology, if you had the work ethic of the generation above you, see, young people, listen to me. Stop not listening to older people. Oh, they old, they don't know. They do know. They know a lot. They know a whole lot. They know the road you're about to travel. They've been on it before. They have great advice, so don't write them off. And then at the same time, us older people, we got to listen to the young people because they have great, innovative, new ideas. They are so smart. This is the smartest generation. These kids now, they're not that smart at 16. They think they are, but they're not. But up until about 35, all the way up from 18 to 35, they know a lot. They're very, very smart. And so I stay in touch with them, and that keeps me in touch with what's going on. And that's how I grow my business and keep it pretty firm.
Okay. Tell us about your new projects. Tell us about the Vault.
Vault is a project that I'm just starting because my journey to where I've gotten to is pretty amazing, man. Like technically, how I'm here is beyond incredible. So what I've learned to teach is mindset. See, what you do is none of my business. You could be in marketing, you could be in advertising, you can be in sports, you can be in engineering. But if you want to be the top, you got to develop the mindset. So Vault, vaultempowers.com is that what it is, Beatty? Vaultempowers.com. I got so much going on. That's a conference that I'm throwing, but Vault is, I teach mindset. Becoming successful is a mindset. You have to learn the principles of success. You can apply them to anything. You can make millions of dollars growing tomatoes if you got the right mindset. And what happens and what a lot of young people are missing is the mindset, because Google has fooled young people. Google has young people thinking they know everything. I'm talking to my son the other day, and we're having a little debate. So in the middle of the debate, he pulls out his phone, he Googles it. He said, "Dad, these are the facts." And I go, "Oh, okay." So I just wanted to have a conversation with my son without him Googling something. So we're talking about something else, and then he Googles something else. And all of a sudden, he shows me that. I said, "Son, you know what you can't Google? Google success. Your father is successful, but you only get successful knowing what I know. You can't Google it. You can't Google success, and you can't Google exposure." And older people who are successful have been exposed. And because of that, Google got a lot of young people mixed up like you know everything. You really don't. I hate to tell you that. You really, really don't. So how did God make you know me? I'm a black man from the United States of America. For me to get to where I am, nothing but the grace of God. They have so much to stop you. It's tough, man. But by God's grace, I'm here. And I come to a place that I happen to really, really love. I tell my wife all the time, Dubai is my favorite city, because I respect culture. You know, I respect people. Your culture's different. It's a lot of nationalities here. I like no crime. I like walking and no one is shooting at me. You don't even, I don't know if you understand the blessing it is to live in a place where crime is so low. You don't know how good that is. We were talking about Cleveland when he was a reporter. What did you say about Cleveland?
Cleveland is, apart from cities at war like Beirut, Cleveland is probably the most violent city in the world.
That's where I grew up for 27 years, in one of the most violent cities in the world. I grew up with violent friends. We had to fight. We had no choice. That's how I grew up. You know, and now I'm in Dubai. That's why I've been to Abu Dhabi, I've been to Dubai. I come here, we can walk. No one harasses you. No one, nothing. You don't know how fortunate you are. You come to America, man, you think everybody want to go to Hollywood, everybody want to go to New York. Walk down the streets of New York late at night. You better hurry up and get inside. They coming for you. This is so different, man. It's been like an honor. And for you all to invite my wife and I here and my team, it's like really an honor, man. It's like unbelievable. You know, we sit around and we talk about it. Man, I mean, this is a dream come true. And then I'm receiving an award, you know, to be recognized globally for what you do. That's a blessing, you know. Oh. You know, man, you are. You know, you spend your life working and grinding and trying to become something. And then you look up and God lifts you to a place that you never even thought you would get to. I mean, you know, look, I'm over here. How can? That's so crazy, man. You don't even know. And when we get through, we're going to go walk down the street again. Nobody's shooting. They don't steal cars over here. You know how many times they done stole my car? Well, that was back when I was in Cleveland, but I knew a lot of tough guys, so we went and got it back. But this right here is just an honor, man, and truly an honor for my wife and I. We just want to say thank you for being so wonderful to our team. And thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
And thank you for your feelings, and thank you for your emotions, and thank you for being Steve Harvey.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, Harvey. Thank you, man.
Man, Dubai Links, I think Steve Harvey deserves a bigger round of applause. Come on, make some noise for that. Okay, thank you, Mr. Ali. Steve, I promise you they can sound louder than this. Come on, you guys, don't let me down. 1, 2, 3, make some noise, Dubai! See, we're a good crowd. Blessings, all right. Man, as he makes his way, thank you, MBC, for always creating amazing things. MBC hosts, can't wait definitely to see that. So I'm gonna let the definitely commotion for Steve. What an incredible, amazing speech.